Hello, curious people. So, we all love a good conspiracy theory, right? Whether you're the type to dive into rabbit holes on YouTube or just hear something wild and think, nah, there's no way. But hold on. What if I told you that sometimes the stuff we write off as crazy actually turns out to be, well, real? That's right. Today, we're talking about 12 conspiracies that went from being totally out there to being confirmed as real. And trust me, it's not just aliens and Bigfoot on this list. These stories might make you look at the world a little differently. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into some of the wildest real-world conspiracies. Let's get into it. 1. The Watergate Scandal. Okay, let's start with one of the classics, Watergate. It's been the stuff of movies, documentaries, and late-night talk show jokes, but the story behind it is chilling. The conspiracy theory that members of the Nixon administration were involved in the break-in of the Democratic National Committee headquarters in Washington, D.C. in 1972. A bunch of political hacks trying to spy on their opposition. No big deal, right? Turns out, it wasn't just a theory. The cover-up was real, and when the whole thing came to light, it forced President Richard Nixon to resign in 1974, the first and only time a U.S. president has had to step down because of a scandal. So yeah, Watergate wasn't just a conspiracy. It was a full-blown political crisis that reshaped American history. 2. The CIA and LSD experiments, MK Ultra. You know how you sometimes hear those what-if theories like, what if the government is testing drugs on unsuspecting citizens? Well, surprise, the CIA actually did this. For real. In the 1950s and 60s, the CIA launched a mind control program known as MK Ultra. They were testing LSD and other substances on unwitting American and Canadian citizens, with the aim of learning how to control people's behavior, all while bypassing legal and ethical guidelines. The worst part? Most of the subjects had no idea they were being dosed, which makes this one pretty unsettling. It wasn't just conspiracy talk. The documents were eventually declassified in the 70s, revealing that the US government really did mess with people's minds for research. Totally legal? Not so much. Totally real? Oh yeah. 3. COINTELPRO, FBI surveillance of civil rights groups. So imagine this. You're fighting for civil rights, equality, and justice. You're part of a movement to improve society, right? Well, apparently the FBI didn't see it that way. In the 1960s and 70s, under a covert program called COINTELPRO, the FBI was spying on and infiltrating civil rights organizations, including the NAACP and even Martin Luther King Jr.'s Southern Christian Leadership Conference. The goal? To prevent social change by any means necessary. And here's the thing, they did it. The FBI's surveillance and sabotage weren't just theories, they were real. The program was eventually exposed in 1971 when a group of activists broke into an FBI office and found files detailing the whole operation. This conspiracy was terrifyingly true. 4. The Tuskegee Experiment. Let me hit you with a conspiracy that is shocking and deeply tragic. For decades, the U.S. government secretly studied the progression of untreated syphilis in African American men in the Tuskegee study of untreated syphilis in the Negro male. Now, this wasn't a theory, it was a reality. Starting in 1932, the U.S. Public Health Service studied nearly 400 black men in Alabama. But here's the kicker. They didn't treat the syphilis even after penicillin was proven to be an effective cure in the 1940s. The men were told they were being treated for bad blood, but they were kept in the dark about their condition and deliberately left untreated. The study didn't end until 1972 when a whistleblower finally exposed it. It's one of the most horrifying real-life conspiracies, and it's been a stain on medical ethics ever since. 5. The Iran-Contra Affair. All right, let's turn the page to the 1980s. During the Reagan administration, a secret operation was underway, but it wasn't on the up and up. The conspiracy? The U.S. government was secretly selling weapons to Iran, which was under an arms embargo, and using the money to fund Nicaraguan rebels. Now, when the whole thing came to light in the late 1980s, the administration tried to deny it, but the evidence spoke for itself. The U.S. government was violating international law, and it led to investigations, criminal trials, and a whole lot of political fallout. So yeah, another one that wasn't just a conspiracy, it was full-on political mischief with major global consequences. 6. The FBI's Operation Paperclip. This one is kind of wild. After World War II, the US was, understandably, eager to scoop up some of the best and brightest minds from Nazi Germany's scientific community. The conspiracy theory here? That the U.S. government secretly brought over 1,600 German scientists and engineers, including former Nazis, to help out with American military and space programs, all under a covert operation called Paperclip. You might think, no way, the U.S. wouldn't do that. Well, guess what? They did. The operation was declassified in the 1970s, and the public learned that scientists like Wernher von Braun, who developed the V-2 rocket for the Nazis and later helped build the U.S. space program, were working for the U.S. government. This wasn't just some conspiracy theorist's rant. It was an open secret that turned out to be true. 7. Big tobacco and the health risk of smoking. Remember how for years smoking was marketed as glamorous and cool? Conspiracy theories said Big Tobacco knew the risks and was hiding them to protect their profits. Well, spoiler alert, those conspiracy theories were spot on. The tobacco industry had long known that smoking caused cancer, lung disease, and heart problems, but they actively worked to downplay the risks. In the 1990s, internal documents from tobacco companies were leaked, and it turned out the companies knew exactly how dangerous smoking was. They lied about it, manipulated the public, and covered up research to protect their profits. The conspiracy turned out to be an ugly truth. 8. The MK Ultra connection to Hollywood and mind control. You've heard of Hollywood's mind-bending movies about mind control, but did you know the CIA's real-life MK Ultra program may have had something to do with it? Yep, turns out MK Ultra wasn't just about testing LSD on civilians. It also explored how to manipulate and control people. And some people believe they even tested these mind control techniques on unsuspecting individuals in the entertainment industry. Some say famous actors and directors may have been part of secret experiments, or may have unknowingly been influenced by the CIA's psychological techniques. While some of this is still up for debate, it's not out of the realm of possibility that a bit of MK Ultra spilled into pop culture in a way that we never saw coming. Hollywood might not be as glitzy as we thought. It could have been a front for some real-life brainwashing. Mind-blowing, right? 9. The U.S. government's secret UFO files. Now let's end with something truly out of this world. UFOs. For years, the U.S. government denied any involvement with unidentified flying objects. Conspiracy theorists had a field day claiming the government was hiding alien encounters, and for a while that was just the theory. Well, in recent years, the US government has finally admitted that UFOs are real. They released declassified footage showing military pilots encountering unexplained flying objects that performed maneuvers beyond the capabilities of any known aircraft. While they haven't confirmed aliens yet, the truth is, the government was definitely involved in studying these phenomena. Who knows? Maybe the truth really is out there. 10. The D.B. Cooper hijacking and escape. Okay, here's one of those stories that sounds like it's straight out of a movie, but it's very much real, or at least mostly real. In 1971, a man using the alias D.B. Cooper hijacked a plane, demanded $200,000 in ransom, and then parachuted out of the plane, vanishing into thin air. The FBI launched an investigation, but they never found Cooper or any trace of him. For years, it was one of the most baffling, unsolved mysteries in criminal history. But here's the crazy part. In 1980, some of the ransom money was found buried near the Columbia River, which meant Cooper actually got away with it. Over the years, various suspects were investigated, but Cooper's true identity remains a mystery. Was he an experienced skydiver, a mastermind criminal, or did he just get lucky? Either way, this conspiracy turned out to be one of the greatest heists in history, and one that still leaves people scratching their heads. 11. The Boston College The Troubles Tapes, IRA Confessions. Now, this one's a bit of a twist. The IRA, Irish Republican Army, is known for their violent struggle for Irish independence, and one conspiracy theory said that confessions related to their actions were secretly recorded and buried by the U.S. government. This was especially relevant when Boston College in Massachusetts decided to archive interviews with former IRA members as part of a history project. The tapes contained detailed confessions about bombings, killings, and other covert actions that hadn't been previously known. It sounded like just another political theory at the time, but guess what? In 2011, the U.S. government actually used these tapes as part of a legal case, forcing the college to hand them over. What was even crazier is that the interviews revealed names and details about some of the most notorious IRA figures, which led to several arrests and new investigations. So yeah, it wasn't just a theory. The U.S. government was involved in exposing some of the most confidential confessions in modern history. 12. The Secret of the Philadelphia Experiment. This one might sound like it came straight out of a sci-fi novel, but stick with me. The Philadelphia Experiment is a conspiracy theory that claims the U.S. Navy conducted a secret experiment in 1943 to make a battleship, the USS Eldridge, invisible. According to the theory, the ship was not only rendered invisible but also teleported from Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia, and back. Some even claim that the crew experienced time travel and disorienting effects. Now, this one is a bit of a mix between legend and reality. The conspiracy was officially dismissed as nonsense by the government for years, but in the 1990s, some declassified documents revealed that the Navy had indeed been working on highly classified electromagnetic experiments that could have affected ships in ways we still don't fully understand. While there's no evidence to support time travel or invisibility, the fact that the Navy was doing experiments involving strange technology, that's very real. And there we go. 12 wild conspiracies, each of which turned out to have more truth than we ever expected. Whether it was political cover ups, shady government experiments, or mind bending disappearances, these stories prove one thing. Sometimes the truth is even stranger than we can imagine. Who knows what other conspiracy theories out there could turn into jaw dropping facts? One thing's for sure about the world is a whole lot more mysterious than we give it credit for. So the next time someone throws out a wild theory, don't just brush it off. There's a good chance it might just have some truth buried underneath, waiting to come to light. Thanks for sticking with me on this deep dive, and remember, sometimes reality really is stranger than fiction. Till the next time, stay curious.